As you can see here, 216 phone calls. They're up 122. When you round up, it's 123%. Basically, it was around 90 phone calls they had at this time last year. So real quick, before I get into their numbers and then kind of what I did, it's important to also note that every month they've been up. So in January, they were up 146% year over year in phone calls. Next month in February, they're up 158%. If I go now to March, they were up 189%. And in April, they were up 116%. So every month we've had growth from a year over year perspective. And then finally, in the last month, May, not as strong of a month, but when you look at the collective for the past now 5 months, so they were up 23%, 23.8. The entire aggregate, though, is a great story. A lot of phone calls that they're getting each month gets them more leads for their business. So I'm going to redact their primary keyword and their name. But the way that I look at this from a local perspective is with SoLV. So SoLV stands for share of local voice. It's a metric that Local Falcon uses. So what I'm looking at here is the entire trend line. I've been tracking this client now for a very long time for, plenty of their different keywords, but here's one keyword in particular. So you can see on the far left side, we had just under, it looks like a 30% share of local voice, and it kind of, dipped and then it's really started to grow. And now in 2025 in May, we're really at our highest mark. So we're getting the most impressions for this particular keyword. To put this in perspective though, so I'm going to change this from a bar graph now to a line graph. When I took over their account, I could see exactly who the top competitors are for this particular keyword. So the top green line, that was the competitor. They had almost like a 95% share of local voice in this 5 mile radius going on for this one keyword. My client is the blue line. So not only did we have to grow our own share and to improve our own rankings, but then we actually started to take share away from the green line as well. So what happens with local SEO is that the share of local voice is only the top 3 positions. That's on page 1 of Google. So we're able to, over time, overtake the top competitor. And now we're kind of neck and neck with them for the same share of local voice, around 60%. So we took share away from them. And now we are neck and neck with them for this particular keyword. Here's how their heat map has changed. So I don't really know the best way to show this in a video because there's a lot of scans and it's hard to kind of tell. But the main thing here is that on the left was April in 2024. Not a lot of dots are green, which means they're not on page 1 for their primary keyword. Middle chart over here is basically 1 month later. And so this is May 2024. Again, a lot of red dots. And you compare that now to May 27, 2025. Look at all those green dots now. So that's why they're getting more impressions for their primary keyword, and they're getting more phone calls, more leads, also more website clicks too, and more form submissions. So it all kind of plays together. The better the rankings, the better chance you have to get more impressions, and then you're going to get more leads and phone calls, everything like that. So what was done? So there was so much. I've had this client out for a while, and this is important to kind of share, because when you're working with a client for a long time, you can experiment with a lot of different things. So top left, ran Local Falcon scans for their primary keyword, and I kept rerunning the scans for the same distance, same radius, same keywords. So I can see if we're going to eventually take share away from competitors. Top row, middle. So I reviewed the top competitors within Local Falcon, and I looked at it from a gap analysis. So gap analysis are things like number of reviews, secondary categories, if they respond to reviews, questions and answers, services, if they're filled out or not. There's so much that goes involved with this. So I kind of manually document all that information just so I know exactly what I need to look at. Next, I added local schema to the entire website. So local schema allows Google and Bing to know exactly, let's say, local business in the area. And we're able to get really specific into, from a search bot perspective, that we are a local business. Middle row now on the left. So I created a city-specific page on their website. So before they went after a national strategy for their service, instead I created a specific landing page for their location. I thought localizing the content would be better. I think that plays really well with Google My Business. Next, middle part, I embedded their Google My Business map directly on that new landing page. So I'm going to make that connection between their profile, their content, and really the directions too. So I felt like the iframe embed would tie it in exactly really well. So your website and your Google My Business profile, they tie together. Here's the map. It all kind of connects with each other to rank a little bit better. Next, they, the client, they get a lot of reviews. So this is good. They get reviews on Google. They also get reviews on other platforms. Reviews, I think, help from an indirect ranking signal. It allows Google to see you're getting reviews on places like Facebook and some other secondary sites, and of course on Google reviews too. All that helps. And then users see that as trust. They spend more time in the profile. I think it helps with indirect rankings. I think it's all a way to also get more phone calls too. Bottom row. So I kept running new local Falcon scans, see if we're improving for our keywords. So I would always make changes to their profile, see how things were kind of playing out, and kept rerunning scans to just see if we're taking share away from top competitors. And when we took away share, that's when we noticed we got more phone calls too. And of course, more things I didn't even go over are things like A/B tests that I ran. I didn't even talk about Bing Maps or Apple Maps within this presentation, but there's so many things that you can do within local SEO to get more phone calls. So really, in summary, go back to the very top here. Phone calls are up. Phone calls are a great KPI to track. Obviously, not every phone call is going to be high quality. There's going to be probably some spam and some low quality and maybe even some repeat calls as well. But the point, though, is that if you're getting more impressions for your target keywords, you're changing the map to make it greener. It usually then leads with more phone calls, more website clicks, more leads for my clients. Anyway, thanks for watching this video and stay tuned for the next one.